All right, good morning. Welcome to the Urban Heat R&B Talk on the Tuesday. Steve Gooseby. Yes, it's been a long morning after doing the morning cafe. We do have a special guest on the show this morning. If I can bring him up real quick from Madison Park, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet the headmaster, Madison Park High School, Paul Neal. How you doing today, Paul?
Good morning, Steve. Good morning. Thank you for inviting.
All right, give me 1 second, man. I don't know. We always have trouble with these mics in the beginning, so let me just go around here. Can you hear me? You can hear me fine, though, right? Say that again. I'm sorry. I think I accidentally muted your microphone.
I can hear you fine.
All right, let me get one more thing. Put this on default. 1 second, man. Should have did this before. All right, that should clear things up. All right. Want to welcome you to the show, man. Madison Park, man. I think Harry's retired now, right? He's not there anymore, right, Harry?
Nah, I don't know Harry. No.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So all the guys I know, they're probably not there anymore. But want to welcome you to the show this morning, man. What's going on with Madison, man? I know in the past they've had those trade, hairstylists, auto, I think electrical stuff they had in the past that went away. Is that stuff coming back now?
No, all that stuff is here, man. We have 22 vocational programs.
Right.
Including we're trying to get 2 new programs. We're trying to get aviation, where we're trying to get our Black and brown kids in this community to have access to, being a pilot when they leave Madison. We also added robotics. We started that last year, so we're going to the second year of robotics. So,
yep.
We've got some great program. It's a hidden gem, man, in Boston that we need to get the word out so people understand what our kids are missing. Because it's the only school that really gives our kids the opportunity to be able to go out and work on co-op starting their junior year. You know, with the prices in Boston, I think it's advantageous for a lot of our families, but a lot of folks don't know what we have to offer.
Right. So how long have these programs been back? Because, for years now, I know they haven't been there at Madison Park.
Yeah, they've been here for the last 30 years, 20 years. We've added, changed other programs, but Madison has a lot of programs from auto tech, auto body, auto collision, carpentry, welded, mechanical. Then we have all the nursing programs, the health assistant programs, the dental programs. Madison has some really, really great things to offer to the community. Okay. And not just for students, but we also, we're not there yet, but we want to be community facing, meaning that people come and, we have culinary arts and dine here, have their events here, support the by fixing cars at costs. Not looking to be profitable, but to really serve the community and give our students a value experience they need.
Okay, so talk about the importance of that, because that's been missing out of the schools for a long time, and we always talk about, especially now with the new technology that's out there, AI. It's very important that these kids get a skill. Not everybody goes to college. College doesn't work for everybody, but having a skill, I think, is important, especially with everything that's going on.
Well. And thank you for bringing that up. I want to say, though, I'm a graduate of a vocational school, and what it did for me, a poor Black kid growing up, it allowed me to become independent, because my junior year, I started making more money than my mom and my dad did. So I was able to support them while I'm even supporting myself. What I realized in Boston is every suburban community, the regional technical school, there's a wait list to get in there. The value of it, right? My daughter's trying to get into the school that I went to, and she's on a wait list.
Yeah, especially electrical union, same thing. It's hard getting in those places.
But the families in Boston, we got to clean our reputation up too, and that's my primary function. But a lot of people have a lot of negative image that they've never been inside Madison, and they're somewhat, to be honest, sometimes I feel it's almost like systematic racism, because in the suburbs, those families truly understand that their kids are having an advantage by having these skills. Madison is offering these skills. We have the potential of being the best high school, not just in Massachusetts, but the country. And the reason why I say that is, kids can graduate here from Madison, leaving with their associates. So if you want to go to college, we have that where you can go, and it's for free. you're leaving here with industry required credential. You could have all of the pieces you need to be a nurse, a
Right.
dentist,
Now,
auto
not, not,
technician.
not to cut you off. So with the associates piece, they can do that in 4 years, or is that an additional year? How does that work?
No, in 4 years. They
Oh,
leave
wow.
here, they graduate. We had 8 kids last year, 10 kids the year before, and we have about 10 lined up for this year that are leaving with their associates. Don't have to do anything else
That's
for free.
huge. That's huge.
And a lot of people don't know that. So, you just said a minute ago, but they're coming to learn the skills. Not everybody's for college. The problem is I'm trying to that's not the message for us. Is the message is that you will have choices. If you choose to go to college, you can do that. We also want to try to promote them as entrepreneurship. Like, instead of thinking about just working for someone else, you've learned the skills, you have the technique, you have the knowledge. How about opening up your own business? How come being a business owner? Going on to college to extend those skills where you're now engineers. So it has a lot to offer, but the way people think of it, it's like, oh, go to Madison to work with your hands.
Right.
Yeah. The difference with Madison is you have to use your brains. You also get an opportunity to practice those skills in real world application. And there's no school in Massachusetts, in Boston, that could do that.
Now, are you also tied in with some of the businesses around in the area for whether they want to be an auto mechanic or electricians? Are there any connections with the school in those businesses?
We do, but not enough. My goal is that we should have 98% of our kids going out to co-op, meaning that when they're a junior, they should be out working and learning. But we need partners to do that. We need folks who have opportunities for our young people to work and get us and get paid while they're learning and servicing the community at the same time. I think it's an opportunity for us to also provide skilled labor in a time where skilled labor is short. We could be the pipeline for a lot of the businesses around this area.
And they can get into all these different trades as a freshman at Madison Park.
Yeah, when they come in as a freshman, they get to visit all 22 programs.
Yeah.
They spend a day in every program and they narrow it down to 6. And then after the 6, they spend a week in each in their 6th program. And then they make a choice. And again, it's competitive. It's some shops have a higher demand than others. And so if you earn points when you're going through this process, and the students with the highest points get their first choice first. But the goal is to get every kid in their top 2, the top 1 or 2 programs, right, before they become seniors.
Right. And what about for the girls? Because I know, of course, they can be mechanics too. They can be electricians. But what about they might not be interested in those things. But of course, if they are, it's there for them. But what about some of the things that are more attractive to them?
Well, and we're also trying to promote it in a way where it's like it's gender neutral. We need girls in the hard trades. We need girls in nursing.
Right. That's
Same
true.
thing though. We got boys who don't really know, like, hey, you can go be a nurse. It's not just for girls to be a nurse. You can go be a nurse because it could be the pathway to being a doctor. Some of the top paid cosmetologists, yeah, we have females in there. We don't have a lot of boys, but those are the guys that are making money. Like the boys that work in those areas make big money. So we don't have any program that I would say is for gender specific. I think culturally people do that, and that's also one of the things we're trying to expose people to. A lot of the folks that are traditional within our communities, is filled. But when it comes to like computer tech and some of those programs, they're not understanding how much they could make and the benefits from them. So they draw more to auto body, auto tech, electrician, the ones that are typical. It is my job and our admin team to get the community to know about other programs that we have and the benefits that goes beyond just the paycheck. The retirement benefits, the medical benefits, things that sometimes within our communities we don't understand well enough. So when we're making career choices, we don't consider that. But again, that's what we're hoping to do a better job. And even you inviting us here to get the word out to the community.
That's important. That's very important. And just to wrap things up, tell the folks again what is going on with the trades, just to wrap things up at Madison Park. Because again, I thought the trades were out of schools.
Nah, we're here, man. It's the best education that you can get because what you get here, you can't get anywhere else. You could leave with industry required credentials. You
Mhm.
can go out and work starting your junior year. Every other week you're working and come to school one week, go to work the other. You also can graduate with an associate degree if you choose to.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just a lot of options that other schools just don't offer. But to me, the greatest thing is that a lot of times you learn the theories about things.
Mhm.
Here you get to apply them. How does math work in carpentry? How does math work in plumbing? Why is it important to learn math? So we could really solidify the importance of some of the academic stuff that you're taking that you just can't do in other places.
Right. And even though AI is around actually it's pretty much here, it's not even around the corner. People are still gonna need some human services, man. I mean, AI can't do everything. And by the time they get to that, I mean, who knows? If they're entrepreneurs, like you said, they might use AI as an assistant to their
Well,
business.
I think AI, I think everyone's going to use it to assist, but you will never get away, I don't believe, from some of the human piece. And again, it's
I agree.
what goes into AI is what comes out. So you need someone to be making those programs. You need someone to be monitoring them. And there's some work that still requires a lot of human interactions to get the work done. And we can give kids the skills to do both.
All right, good stuff, man. That's the headmaster at Madison Park, Paul Neal. The trades, they never went away, but if anything, they're really pushing them at Madison Park right now, man. So, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I just think it's one of the best education you can get within the city. We're trying to change the reputation and improve some things here. But I really want families to know of their choices because, again, in suburbans, they don't even think about it. You can't get in those schools. And here, we can't fill the seats. And it's a disadvantage. They're putting the kids at a disadvantage because, again, your kids could be out making and earning instead of working after school till midnight in some fast food joint. You could be here and going out to work, supporting your family, staying. The housing market in Boston, how crazy it is. A lot of families are getting priced out. If you're at Madison, there's a lot that your students can do to help support their families and themselves while they're going through schools and being exposed to the future. The future starts here at Madison. There's no better education in the city of Boston.
Right, totally agree with you, man. And at the end of the day, if you don't know, you don't know. So it's good for you to get that information out. I want to thank you for your time. We're gonna do anything else you need with us. Just give us a buzz, man.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
support our young kids.
All
Thank
right,
you.
brother. Thank you.
All right, that's the headmaster, Paul Neal at Madison Park. The trades, they never really went anywhere, but one thing's for sure, they got them at Madison Park, man. And that's a good thing because you know what? It's hard getting into these trades. You really got to start kind of early, like in high school, like what they're doing. The electrical union, local 103 over there in Dorchester, man, it's hard getting people in that union. It's very hard. It's not easy. So if you can start at a place like Madison Park or anywhere that offers trade, especially for young men and women, I say do it. Having a skill is very important. I'm not saying don't go to college. I do have some personal feelings about going to college more today than back when I went. And I just tell you, I feel like, most people don't get a skill in college. You don't learn a skill in college. You get an education, and for the first 2 years, you're working on the same thing you did in high school. So I like what he said about Madison Park, where you can get your associate's degree. Right. So you don't have to deal with that when you go to college. So instead of spending 4 years in college, I'm not sure if colleges will accept that. That might be a challenge depending on where you go. But instead of spending 2 years working on your associate's degree or 2 years doing those liberal arts courses, which you have to do when you're in college, you can get it done in Madison Park and don't have to worry about it. So then you go to your last 2 years where you just work on your skill set. But, the trades, that's the way to go. They need plumbers. They need electricians. They got the iron workers, elevator work, all kinds of different trades. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So and just jumping back into the college piece again, there's so many people that go to college. It's not for everybody. So many people go to college and they either don't finish or they graduate and they got massive student loans, right? They got massive student loans. They graduate, you got to pay that stuff back. They get a job. 9 times out of 10, you get a job, and it's not even a job that you went to school for. So that's tough. That's tough. I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm not saying that at all. I just think instead of rushing to that, which a lot of kids do, surprisingly enough, a lot of kids make their choices based on what their friends are doing. Oh, where you going? I'm going to try to get into Northeastern. I want to go to Northeastern, or I want to go to Howard, or I want to, whatever it is. The kids follow each other, not knowing what they really want to do. So you're taking these courses. It's great to have a degree. I'm not knocking that at all. It's great to have a college degree. But, that bill, you're going to have that bill. And to have a skill, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. The other thing he mentioned is about starting your own businesses. If you're a good plumber, why not start your own business? People need plumbing done all the time, especially this past winter, as cold as it was. A lot of busted pipes out there. A lot of busted pipes. I know several people. Got a person in Lynn called me for a plumber. The pipe burst. A lot of folks just don't. When it's freezing cold like that, you got to open up those cabinets where the pipes are so the heat can get up in there. Or you got to have a heater down there on during those days when it's real cold, especially if you got old pipes. You got to do that. So there was a lot of that. So people need plumbers. People need electricians. Plus, if you're working in the union, 9 times out of 10, at some point, you're going to get laid off. If there's not a lot of work out there, there's just not a lot of work out there in the union. So you're going to get laid off. But if you have your own business set up as a plumber or an electrician or as an auto mechanic, whatever it is, a culinary arts, whatever it is, you can still get some work. You can still get paid through your business. I got a guy, he just left the fire department, but he's a big time plumber. He's a big time plumber. So, he getting a check for his retirement or whatever, and pension, all of that. And he does the plumbing thing full time now. So, yeah, having that business, having that skill set, very, very, very important. And I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. I've been here since 6 o'clock, y'all. And that ain't a long time. I know those people like 6. Goose, come on, 6 o'clock? Yeah, but on the radio. So, yeah, we're going to do that. And let me just look through some of these folders and see if I can leave y'all with anything else. We will be back on Tuesday, right? Next Tuesday. At some point, Ray Royale will be on the show, and we're going to talk about that new album he has. If you haven't copped it already, make sure you pick it up. Ray Royale has a brand new album, and if you want to know what it looks like, this is what it looks like right here. Okay, let me just put that up for you real quick. I'm in the what? Let me go back. I'm sorry. I'm in the way here. Let me just move over to, I can move myself over. There you go. That's Ray Behind Closed Doors. That's the Ray Royale new album. It's out in stores. Cop it. I believe I'll have him on the show next Tuesday, but we'll see. And we're also going to start doing a segment once a month on Black health. I got a few doctors lined up. They're going to come on to the show, and we're going to talk about Black health. We're going to talk about this food, which is huge. Yes, I'm going to talk about it over and over and over again. You know why? Because people are dying every week. We're losing a lot of friends. How many funerals? Here at the station alone, I'm sure y'all know about Mark Harris, my brother. We just lost Mark Harris to cancer. We also lost Talise to cancer. Talise passed right before the New Year's. And we just lost Mark Harris last week. And my condolences go out to the Brown family, Bobby Brown's family, who lost his brother Tommy, who I also grew up with in the projects, So people are dying, and it's, I just mentioned 3 names, but many of us know people or have friends. It seems like it's every week, every other week. It's been like that for over a year now, where, since COVID, people are dropping at a rapid rate. There's a major problem in Mattapan with people with cancer in Mattapan. If you listen to the show last week, there's a problem when it comes to cancer in people that live in Mattapan. So, and there's a lot of reasons for it. If you look at the food, and I'll just say this and I'll leave you with this, download that app Yuka. I'm brand new to it. A lot of folks have already had it. I know people that have had it for Richard, who's on the show, Rich Sports. He's had it for 5 years. Some people have had it for over a year. It's an app called Yuka, Y-U-K-A. Download it. When you're out food shopping for food for your house, grocery shopping, start scanning the food just to see what you're buying. The app will tell you whether it's good or bad. It'll tell you why it's bad. It'll tell you about the additives in there. And the additives that are in these food, whether it's the red dye, yellow, green, they got all kinds of stuff, man. It causes cancer. It causes diabetes. It causes attention deficit, especially with kids. A lot of the snacks that you buy your kids, oh, yeah, you got to pay close attention to the snacks because this is a major problem. That's one of the biggest things I hear about kids in our schools. They have ADHD, right? And what do when they come up with that diagnosis? They prescribe them. They put them on medication. Is that helping the child? I think what helps better, get them off that food that's causing that ADHD, like those Cheetos and those crackers and probably 90% or 99% of the snacks that they eat. I bet you it has either the yellow dye, the red dye, the green dye, but all kinds of dyes, and they all causes ADHD in kids. Some of them, matter of fact, you know what? Let's do this right here. I got time. My appointment is I got a listing appointment out in Taunton. I got to be there at 1 o'clock. So I got time. Let me do this real quick. Let me do this really quick here. I want to show you some of the Yuka information that actually I got out of my own house. You know, when Rich shipped me to the application or to the app, which is free, by the way, it's a free app. You can download it in your app store, Yuka, Y-U-K-A. It's free. And, you know, most of these apps, they do charge for them. This one is free, so you don't have to worry about that. Cheetos. I was just talking about Cheetos. When you scan your potato chips or whatever it is you're buying for your child, this is what the app is going to do. It says it's bad, and it has additives in there that are bad. These are some of the additives. Yellow 6, which is food coloring. Monosodium, which is a flavor enhancing. They want to make sure the kids love it. Let's enhance the flavor so they can eat it more and buy more, right? And then this is the issue with that dye. It causes adverse effects on reproduction. So by the time they want to have their own family, they're going to have problems reproducing. And then here you see where it says child attention deficit. That's in the Cheetos. What kind of snacks you got in your house? Start scanning some of those snacks, man, especially if you have young kids. Telling you, man, I'm going to do one more and then get out of here. Nope, not that one. Let's see. Wait a minute. Potato rolls. All right, let's not do that one. Although that one has a high risk of cancer. Let me go and do one that I didn't do before. Let's see. What's this here? What is this? Skippy's peanut butter. Look at that. Hydrogenated oils. It's not good for you. Calories, saturated fat. Okay. Let's see what those oils cause. Those oils that are in the Skippy's peanut butter can cause cardiovascular disease, right? Messing with your heart, type 2 diabetes, cancer. Yeah. Now there's all types of Skippy peanut butters. You got to look at, which one you're buying. In any case, you need to go and download that app and start scanning your food. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just telling you the truth. Our folks, our people have been dropping like flies. And have you just thought about why? Why is that happening? Why is that happening? I'm trying to turn this thing off. I forgot how to. There we go. All right. Why is that happening? Why are people dropping like flies? Why are people dying the way they're dying? I just personally think it's the food. And some people are hip and aware to it, others are not. Some folks are still just going along, buying and eating this. And, a lot of that stuff causes inflammation in your stomach and in your organs. Yeah, it's bad, y'all. It's pretty bad. So that's just my opinion. That's what I say we all should do when you're out grocery shopping, especially if you have a family, not even just for the family, but yourself too. You got to watch what you're eating. Now, you really have to watch what you're eating. Now, back in the day, we didn't have these issues. Our parents made meals, Sunday dinner. We ate all of that stuff. All of that stuff. The difference between the food back then and right now, back then, they didn't have those same additives. They didn't have the food coloring with all that additional poison in. Now, you heard of Pfizer, right? Pfizer is the company. They came out with the stuff during COVID. Pfizer owns 90% of the cheese that you're buying in the stores. Did you know that? They own 90% of the cheese. What are they putting in that cheese? I don't know. I didn't buy any to take a look. But I'll tell you this much. What I'll do is next time I go to the grocery store, I'll take a snap of some of the cheeses in the cheese section. And let's see what's in the cheese. But yeah, Pfizer, the same company that gave you the COVID shot, they're in the cheese business now. Why are they selling cheese? Why do I want to? Isn't that a conflict of interest? Is it possible they trying to get us sick just so we can go out and buy their medicine? Goose, you crazy. You crazy, Goose. What you talk about? Man, stop it, man. Stop telling the people that, man. No, I'm not. You don't have to believe me. You can do your own research. Do your own research. This stuff is, listen, once upon a time, I used to believe everything I heard, read, and saw. I could not imagine certain people trying to do certain things to us that wasn't good. Once upon a time, I always thought the sky was blue. It's not always blue. Sometimes it's gray, like it is right now. Sometimes there's clouds in the sky. Sometimes the skies are clear. You can do what you want to do. I'm just saying. People dying the way they are, it's a problem. It's a problem. And I question what's really going on. You're not going to find on your local news. It's not going to be on your local news just think about it. Since COVID, how many people have you seen that are no longer here since COVID? Before, the average age of people passing away was 72 years old once upon a time. How many people do you know passed wasn't even 70 years old? A lot of people. That's a lot of folks. That's a lot of friends. A lot of good people. Mark Harris was shocking for everybody. Talise was shocking. I feel like Talise just kind of disappeared. Talise was helping me out on the show with a lot of different things. And all of a sudden, we're talking on the phone one day and we're talking about trying to get a little spot to do an event. And then, all of a sudden I didn't hear from Talise no more. Only to find out that she was going in the hospital for a procedure, and she was telling everybody to pray for her, which of course we all did. Ended up texting her a little note, you know, definitely going to pray for you. Once you're done with all that, I got some great ideas of some things we need to do. This is what, she was actually going to be on my, Talise was pretty much on the team. And then next thing you know, that was it. I really hadn't talked to her. And then right before New Year's Eve, right before the new year, man, she passed. So I feel like what happened? What happened? The last time I saw her, she was healthy. Didn't even talk to her again after that. So I just say all of that. Something is going on. People are passing away, and it's a problem. And I think we should all not look past something's going on. Something is really going on. How are you feeling today? How's your body feeling? That's a real question to ask. How are you feeling? A lot of us don't like to go to the doctor. A lot of us, and I'll say I'm one of those guys, I will go to the doctor. I don't have a problem going to the doctor, right? My only problem is I feel like you go to the doctor and you leave there and you're not satisfied. Like, why did I go? Why did I go? So to be honest, I feel a certain type of way. I'm heavy into fasting now. I'm heavy into fasting because of everything that I've seen that's going on. And, I just think you should. The stuff I know that's in the food, I want it out of my body. I don't want it back in my body anymore. So I fast now. I did a 2.5. The most I did was 2.5 days. And that wasn't hard. That was easy. All I did was drink water. But in the morning, I drank a protein shake, which I made myself. And before I go to bed, I would make a protein shake. The protein shake did a great job in terms of curbing my appetite. So I would go throughout the day. I just wasn't hungry. I wasn't thinking about food. I wasn't thinking about eating. My stomach didn't growl on me either. So that helped me. That's all I did for 2.5 days. And then the next time I ate, I had some organic chicken. I made sure it was organic. So I don't know. I just think we all really got to think about it, and it's not going to be easy for everybody. It still ain't easy for me because I want to eat those. Let me tell you, I ate everything. Pizza, subs, Chinese food, got a sweet tooth, so I like my snacks. I'll snack on some things. Ice cream, or at least what I thought was real life. And that's the other thing. If you like ice cream and you buy it from the supermarket, make sure it says that it's ice cream. Not ice cream not whatever name they want to hide to keep you believing that is, because they have certain names out there now. I wish I had some samples, but I'll bring some samples next time. When you're buying ice cream, you want real ice cream. You don't want them like what they're doing with the meat, lab-grown meat. They're doing something with the ice cream now. So you think you're eating ice cream. It's not ice cream. It's something ice cream-like. That's straight up. So that's the thing. I think the food is like you really, as a culture, as people, you got to watch what you eat more than ever. And people were saying with some of the people passing away, we got to eat better. Yeah, we've always had to eat better. We always had to eat better. The difference between then and now, like I said, is the stuff they putting in the food. And I've said this story plenty of times. My mother cooks, right? She complains about not getting the steak back to the way she used to get it. It's hard for her to get it that way. And the only reason why it's hard because it's not the same meat you used to buy, Ma. That meat is different now. I don't know if it's lab grown. And, again, Mom's is old school. I can't tell her nothing. She's used to doing her thing. I might be her son, but you know, she's going to do her thing how she want to do her thing. That's my mother. So that's it, y'all. I'm not going to beat you over the head with it, man. I just think it's important. And I know if you don't know, you just don't know. If nobody tell you, then you ain't ever going to know. If no one talks about it, you're never going to know. You're just never going to know. So the next time you're in this, I'm telling you, man, download the app, man. Again, it's called Yuka. And it's been around for a long time. I wish I knew about it 5 years ago. I would have stopped eating that junk back then. But again, the stuff they have in it, in these the additives causes cancer, causes a whole lot of things. Look at that right there. Sodium benzoate. Adverse effects on reproduction. Adverse effects on the liver. Let's see what food that was found in. Look at there. That's in, hey, you like a good salad, right? You like a good salad? Well, check that out. You want Caesar dressing on your salad? That's Ken's Steakhouse Caesar dressing. It has 4 additives in there that's not good for you. Let's go back to it. There it is. Sodium benzoate. It messes with your reproduction. It messes with your liver. Let me see. Is there anything else? That's it. Well, there is more, but I only did a screenshot of this. That's what it does to you. Gastrointestinal issues. Asthma attacks. Look at that, man. I would have never guessed. You could have never told me that Caesar dressing is bad for you. Now, the thing I do like about the app, I don't have it to show you. One thing I do like about the app, it will show you some alternatives. So it's not all Caesar dressing is bad. No, it's not saying that. There's some, you just got to use that app. You got to scan it and see which ones that doesn't have this sodium benzoate in it. Find one without that in it. It's much better for you. Let's do one final one. And I got to get out. Oh, look at that. Buffalo Ranch Chopper Kit. I actually like buying these. And I stopped buying them once I saw they have 10 different additives. And again, this isn't all all salad. You just got to scan it. Let's see what the additives are in here. Who would have thought that salad couldn't be bad for you? So this has a texturizing agent. As you can see, it causes cardiovascular disease, heart attack, weakening of the intestinal barrier. This is crazy. That's sickening, man. That's terrible. From buying this particular salad, Buffalo Ranch Chopper Kit. This is the pre-made stuff you see at the supermarket all the time. You got to start scanning this stuff. You got to start scanning. That's it, y'all. Again, I ain't going to beat you over the head with it, but we got to do better. We like to eat. I like to eat. You know, we like certain foods. We like stuff. But we got to be conscious now more than anything of what we're eating, what we're putting in our bodies. Because something is going on. Don't care what anybody says. Too many young people dropping. Too many. All right, I'm out. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, and we'll do it again next Tuesday. I believe Ray Royale, I got a doctor coming on board in a couple of weeks. We're going to talk some more about this Black health, about prevention. And if you're walking around with diabetes or some issues, we're going to talk about some herbal things that you can do, because a lot of times you go to the doctor, what do? They give you medication. Next thing you know, the medication causes this, and then you're on a second medication. Somebody's getting super rich off of you being sick. We got to stop that. All right? Stop that craziness. All right, Urban Heat. R&B vibes, y'all. I'm out.